The last time we flew Air France business class, it was on our 12-hour daytime flight from Cape Town to Paris. This time though, we're on the same type of plane, an Airbus A350-900, but it's an overnight flight from Newark to Paris, and it's a totally different seat design. So yes, the same airline and same type of plane, but a much shorter overnight flight out of a different airport, which should make for a completely different experience. Let's get tipsy, y'all. So we were sitting here in Newark Airport, making our way home to Italy, and knowing that it was an overnight flight, we were already kind of questioning if this was the right decision to sit in premium economy. And then something kind of unexpected happened. We ended up getting an offer to upgrade to business class for a very low price. And considering we've already flown Air France business class on this exact plane before, well, it didn't take much convincing. So we made a bit of a last-minute decision, which means this flight turned into something completely different than we planned. With our upgrade, we did get lounge access, but since Air France doesn't have its own lounge in Newark, it's a shared space used by multiple airlines. The buffet offered a mix of cold and hot options, along with a fully stocked open bar. On this particular Airbus A350-900, Air France splits this into their normal three main cabins: business class, premium economy, and economy. Up front is business class in a 1-2-1 configuration. Behind that is premium economy in a 2-4-2 configuration, followed by economy in a 3-3-3 layout. While a little bit different than today, the business class product was really nice on our first flight from Cape Town to Paris, which is kind of the benchmark that we're going to be comparing this entire flight to. And we'll add the link in the description if you want to see that video and a completely different version of this bird. Off the bat, this business class cabin has a very different feel than before. On our previous flight, the middle seats were staggered, so every other row was either close together honeymoon seats like what we sat in, or split seats that were closer to the aisle. But today's cabin, all the window seats are angled towards the window and all of the middle seats are angled towards each other. We'll be sitting in the middle again today, so while we'll be seated together, we won't be as close. The seat itself was fairly spacious with a deep footwell that gave you a bit more room to stretch out. Between the seats, there was a large console packed with features, including a personal reading lamp and a mini tablet to control the TVs, lights, and call button. There was also a small cabinet with a mirror, a headphone jack, and big enough to store a water bottle, headphones, and a couple of smaller items. For staying charged, you've got pretty much everything covered with a wireless charger, both USB-A and USB-C ports, and a standard outlet. The tray table was large, and right next to it were additional seat control buttons. The aisle armrest could be raised or lowered for a bit of extra space, and the TV screen could be brought out with the push of a button or stowed away when you didn't need it. Once it was out, it was positioned in a way that gave you some privacy from your neighbor.
We've been on board for like 5 minutes just playing with the seats, and Chris is very disappointed he can't find how to raise the partition. I think it's pretty funny.
Yes, you're stuck with me.
I'll find it.
At the seat, we were provided with slippers, a pillow, a comforter, and a mattress pad, and then the flight attendants came around with the Amenity kit, which came in 2 different colors and included all the basics plus a few extras like lip balm, eye gel, and even a pen.
So they just came around with refreshments. We haven't left yet, and it was just water or OJ. I mean, like, I'm not mad. Just was hoping for champagne. Maybe they'll come around round 2, champagne.
Okay, so when they first came around with welcome drinks, there was no champagne, which was very depressing. Then they came back with champagne, and to boot, they came with this like little crepe snack. So we're having an aperitivo. Chris and I were just talking about it. It's like a combo, which is an American treat. But if you don't know what a combo is, it's kind of like the wafers that you get. Like the middle of it is cheese. It's just delightfully cheese, and the outside is crunchy, and it is so good.
So as you can probably tell from my voice, I am a little bit under the weather as I've been fighting some allergies as we head back from the States in early spring. Yeah, and as Sam said, these are absolutely phenomenal. I need to find out where they make them, other than France, I know, but I need to find out where I can get them because these are awesome.
So our starter just came out and wow. Okay, so we have a beet and citrus salad with some smoked duck breast. We also have a side salad, and they also brought out the cheese platter, and we got the actual dessert, which is a chocolate mousse cake. They also have hot bread, and I got some more champagne and water. Chris seems very happy over here. He's already dug into his, and I'm getting nods of approval. So it must be good so far. Now this is a bit different than what we experienced on our 12-hour flight where they brought everything out in courses. Again, I'm not complaining, just comparing to the other experience we had. So all three are on the plate, which means that our main will be coming after this. So for dinner tonight, I chose the beef chuck option, which was a bourguignon sauce, carrots, potatoes, and mushroom. However, Chris wanted this, but they were out, and he ended up with the chicken.
And yes, so I got the chicken because my first choice, the beef, was out. I was totally fine because we actually get to mix and match a bit and try each other's, but the chicken comes with a rice pilaf, some celery, some carrots, and a little bit of a sauce, kind of gravy-ish.
First few bites in, wow. This beef is so good. I don't even really need my knife for it. It kind of melts in your mouth, and the sauce is so good. It's like very, very impressive. I say this all on the level of we're on an airplane. Very good food for an airplane. Okay, so the meal service is over and everything has settled down. We have roughly 4.5 hours left, so I'm literally going to lay back and try to get some sleep. They came through and they closed the door. So this is probably the most private business class we've had. We've never had a fully encapsulating pod before, but it's just the two of us, so it's really nice. If you're by yourself, this is a really nice option, especially because now we're cocooned in here. I wish we were closer. The footwell is very, very deep. Let's go ahead and get this seat laid down and see how comfortable she is. Okay. So fully lay flat, I will say this door is a straight up game changer because I am like completely alone now. So the armrest that we showed earlier that goes up and down, when it goes down, it gives you this extra space. So obviously you can see I have a pillow here, but look at this. Like, that's a lot of space. The pad, very thin, but this pillow is so super fluffy. This is really nice. We'll see you guys in a few hours. Good night. Managed to sleep for like an hour and a half. For me, I am a side sleeper, which is just never ideal for any type of sleep on an airplane. If you are looking for a lot more room, the bulkhead seats have so much more room. There was nobody in the bulkhead seat in the second section. If you have the opportunity to grab one of the front row seats, they're just always wider. But overall, it's always nice when you can lay flat to sleep on an airplane. According to the screen, we have about 2 hours and 15 minutes left. We are going to be getting breakfast on this flight, so I'm sure that that'll start soon here. Despite this being a shorter flight, breakfast was served just a few hours after dinner. The spread was pretty extensive, but we were still relatively full from the earlier meal, so we only ended up eating a little bit.
All right, we have about 45 minutes left on this flight, so I figured I'd just give you a quick rundown of kind of my initial thoughts of things. The seat overall, it's super private. Like, we've got this door here that closes, so everything feels really closed off. Like, I can't tell what anyone around me is doing. Even when Sam was watching TV, it was completely turned her way, so I couldn't even see what she was watching. So it is very private. That being said, comparing this flight with the previous business class flight on Air France we did a few months ago, I actually like the seat configuration on the other one a little bit better. So that was the two honeymoon seats in the middle that we sat in. I just felt like there was, although we were closer together, I felt like there was maybe a little bit more space because the seats were straight on as well. This one, you're at an angle. So the footwell is it narrows at the point. So it was kind of weird to try and get comfortable and sleep in. But, I guess I'm nitpicking here because being able to lie flat on an airplane is great nonetheless. So a good flight overall.
So in comparison to the A350-900 that we took up from Cape Town to Paris, that one had a ton of storage. I felt like there was lots of little cubbies. This one doesn't really have much. It has the one cubby here where the headphones are, which is really small in comparison to the other flight. And then there's one spot to put I fit my water bottle and my Amenity kit in there. It was just not as much storage as I think I would have liked, but this is a shorter flight, so it's okay. Whenever you fly business class, it is always a privilege and a treat, so I really don't have any complaints. We just want to make sure that we cover all of our bases and give you guys our thoughts, so that way if you want to book this or upgrade yourself, you know what you're getting into. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next video. Stay thirsty for adventure. Cheers, y'all.